Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and I got something obscure, but I don't know how miniature it is. This is one of Eastern Models ATK girls, because that I can read, because it says Eastern and an ATK girl. Anyway, this is kind of nicknamed, at least if you're going to go searching for one of these things online, look for Azure Dragon, but Eastern Model ATK girl. I've always wanted to build one of these big, girly robot mecha models, and despite the apparent lack of clothing that she's got on for a 1/12 scale model, this is a full plastic model kit. I'm not into the girly dolls, but this looks pretty dang cool because it's obviously, based on the four mythical Chinese beasts, this being the Azure Dragon. And the kit itself looks pretty dang cool. Very heavily armored looking. You can see here, despite the lack of clothing, she's got the tail, she's got the big giant thrusters, claws, big crazy spears, and flying floaty bits. And something that seems quite common with these kits, and I don't know, look at Chinese, they have the multiple face types on there. Quinlong. Okay. Well, it is what it is, but this is a plastic kit, and I am ready to see just what I've gotten myself into. So first off, having never done this before, the box is pretty thick cardboard, which is kind of a switch. I'm used to, the very cheap, just get it in and out of the box and you're done with it type containers. But you'll see here, very first thing, we've got the skin parts, and then we've got the base right there. I want to say each of these have their own special bases. Plenty of colored sprues. We've got some translucent, kind of bluish green ones there as well. Purples and blacks. These more transparent, just a ton of, just like 6 different sprues in there. A whole slew of flesh-colored parts. More skin. This is a lot of parts. Okay, well, I'd always wondered why these things tend to be so costly, and I guess now I have a better idea why. Barf. Okay. Whereas the 30-minute mission kits, the eyes were already kind of, built onto the body, this is going to have to be stenciled on? I don't know what they are. And they're giving the prices in yen. Okay. Here's what I really want. Dang, this is a thick instruction manual. There really isn't a whole lot out there on kits like this in English. And as much as I enjoy all of my tabletop guys, I do love building plastic scale model kits of various funky types. This is a new one for me. So you can see here, we do have quite a bit. I don't know where those were. I didn't see the hair parts, but good to know they're in there. Hands as well. I'm going to have to go dig through that again. Now this is interesting. Check this out. All of the instructions have a little blurb in English on there as well. So, and then there was a little correction thing for the Quinlong. If I'm even saying it correctly. Here we have the basic form of the body, and then it looks like we're going to build the armor separately. Are they 2 different parts? Are they 2 different models? I have no idea. It looks like we use the core thigh pieces, and then everything else is going to be thighs and the head. Everything else is brand new. A bit of cardboard stuck in there. For a pretty basic lance, it looks quite complex. Here we get into building the bits, which I guess can attach. Oh, no, that's just the base. How she attaches to it. Okay. I think the bits are totally separate. But I dig the final model. I really like how this is going to look. I'm really curious to see how it all turns out. I do like the fact that we have the included stand, so you can get those nice, you know, high detailed action poses. Whether or not I'm going to get them right off the bat, probably not. Probably not. Okay, pale sanction times 2, so you get 2 spears. So if you want to go all Sanada Yukimura style, like in the Sengoku Basara games, that is totally a viable option. But this is going to take me a while, so let me get started. We'll put her all together, and we'll see how things turn out. I am quite interested and excited. Sit tight. All right, we got our ATK girl here, our Azure Dragon, all done. And I gotta say, the body itself is quite poseable, and I liked the fact that there were actually a couple of options for how to build the actual body. A lot of posability, a lot of joints in there. I still feel the breasts look comically funny. I just think it's down to the shape of the body. I know some of the options were a bit more scantily clad. You can have like a lot more flesh tone. Not what I was looking for, and especially not what I want to have on display with other kids hanging around and seeing these things. But overall, good size kit. I was pretty impressed. So just grabbing a couple other models to show you in terms of size, with a 1/144th Gundam, with a 30-minute sister, both from Bandai. I really got to get around to getting an actual frame arms kit, I think. I have yet to actually build... Well, no, I take that back. I've got a frame arms kit sitting here on the shelf. A frame arms girl from Kotobukiya. I have not built one of those, and I'm quite curious to see how it would be in terms of size. Grabbing a random Fate model here. That tragically was going to do a video on at one point, and just did such an awful job on the stickers on that stupid flag that I gave up. So you can see, good size difference there. But actually, obviously, this is not, if you've seen the thumbnail or the box art, that's not really what you're buying into with this. I gotta say, quite a complex build when we get around to the actual items and equipment that are included with her. I really dig these spears. I don't know why they give me a bit of an Evangelion vibe. I love the various colored runners that this had. But the cool surprise that I was not aware of, digging through all those sprues earlier on, was the fact that not only do we have the actual girl version of the Azure Dragon right here, there's actually enough parts included for both a non-armored and the fully armored version. And I was not aware of that. I didn't see anything in the documentation, in the photographs online, so that was a neat little surprise. Absolutely not what I was expecting. And I mean, obviously, they are completely interchangeable. A lot of the parts in this version, the unarmored version, are present in the armored version as well. A lot of fiddly little bits that I had to glue on. And stupidly almost glued on these claws that she's got. They are removable because they have like little funnel attachments, so you can have them flying around ready to attack or pose her with. So that was a cool touch. And then obviously if we wanted to swap out the regular hands, which there are a ton of assorted in both black and white versions, and hold on to those spears. And silly me, buried deep underneath all the other bits in that box, there were a couple of different actually pre-done faces. You don't have to mess with the decal versions unless you really want to. I really like the legs on this model. They've got these reverse joints almost. Very different. I actually really like the colors too. You don't see a lot of purples, that purplish blue. I guess it's a good azure color. Backpack obviously is removable. The tail, I wish it was a bit more posable. I mean, it is what it is. It actually, it poses quite well enough, but The waist armor that forms her hips and crotch area is a little loose. I'm going to have to play around with that. I wish there was a little bit more flexibility and mobility with the angles of the wings of the backpack. I'm sure there is, and I just haven't messed with it. Obviously, if you guys want to see cool looking poses, I will leave that to actual people who are, you know, way more into the modeling, designing, and posing aspect of things. Obviously, those should be removable, so you can see that's the frustration with these kinds of things. It's like when one part pops off, everything wants to pop off. But that's okay. I'm going to set that to the side for just a moment. That's backwards, but that's all right too. We'll let her pose awkwardly right there while I attach the backpack to the stand. I feel like with all of her stuff everywhere in every which direction, I think she just looks neater on the stand, flying around with her cool looking thrusters. I dig the thrusters, but then again, I like that look anyway. So overall, I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed. You know, when I first opened the box, I was like, this is gonna be, you know, I thought a bit overkill, but I thought, you know, other than the fiddliness of certain parts of the model, and I kind of feel like that might just come with the territory of these kinds of kits, and I could be wrong, and maybe if you guys know better than me, by all means, please share, whether you have more experience with some of these other up-and-coming Chinese manufacturers or with the traditional Japanese kits. I would love to know, but I gotta say, for the price, you know, I feel like you get a lot of bang for your buck. A lot of different options available. We use lots of ways for me to smack the camera around while I'm trying to pick things up. And for somebody like me who does a lot of model building, it was something very different. I obviously prefer the armored versions. I'm just not into the scale model girls. Some of them look kind of neat. I have tried to get my daughter into it as much as she likes her anime ladies and reading all the various manga that she does. She's almost as bad as her father. Can't say the same about her brother, but I can say that about her. I really like what you get. I mean, there's a ton of options. I haven't even messed with any of the funnel parts to attach everything. I think these blades from the backpack come off as well. There's a lot that I'm sure I'm forgetting, but just overall in terms of the quality and the construction, definitely big thumbs up there. I'm quite impressed with it. I would absolutely recommend, you're going to want to glue on a lot of those little fiddly bits, but I'm also going to recommend you need to cut things very precise, but that always seems to be the case with anything outside of a Bandai kit. And even then, you probably do. I mean, you got to have things sitting really flush, I realize. And that's something that I've noticed with a lot of smaller scale manufacturers, not just out of China, but also out of Japan and Europe too, for that matter. You just really want to make sure you have a good, solid connection. And other than, I guess, my major criticism, besides the floppiness of certain parts and the fiddliness of things falling off, I wish the tail was just a little bit more flexible. But then again, if you wanted to get more flexible, you're going to want to put in like metal wires and stuff, and that's a whole other story of pain, which I'm going to share with another kit for another day. But cool little model, and I liked it enough. I actually went ahead and ordered one of the other ATK girls that I saw was coming out. So hopefully that will be arriving in the future, and we will get to show that off too. It looks like a cool little like ninja girl thing with like a bunch of extra swords on her back. And like I said, I've always had a thing about backpacks and lots of weapons on the back or on display. So that's like totally something that we need to have on this channel in the future. And just wanted to point out also, you'll see these little notches in the bottom of her stand. That's actually where those bits and funnel attachment points are going to be, in addition to the plugs on the base. So a lot of options to play around with. Definitely if you're into posing kits, plop, there's going to be a lot there that you can do as well. Choices of items, choices of things to have fall off. Now there's a lot to do with this. I'm kind of curious. I'm assuming that if you have any of the other models, that they probably are going to be quite compatible if you wanted to start converting and chopping them up and doing your own thing. Always something fun, right? Right. So I'm going to put a link down below. I got this girl from ShowZ. I know I've plugged them a couple of times. Not like I get anything out of it, but the service that I've gotten from them has been really cool, and it is kind of hard to find this stuff in the US, and ShowZ kind of just specializes in all of these esoteric and exotic, obscure type models and figures in the Asian market area. I was going to say it's not just China and Japan, but mostly is. But they do carry a lot of different products, and the packaging, I got to say, is absolutely fantastic. The amount of padding and protective material on those were just really, really nice. And obviously, if I'm going to spend a bunch of money on various model kits, I want them to arrive in one piece, right? So if you're interested, take a look down below, and hopefully they have something that is up your alley as well as mine. So with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.